Hey everybody, it's Triple L, and now let's talk Recreators, episode 15. I should get in the habit of pronouncing that properly. Anyway, Recreators, episode 15, let's talk about it. Let's get the technicalities out of the way first. So just talking about what the episode does overall before going in depth on it. It's another very quiet episode because we're still in this preparation arc, I guess. Preparation on both sides for the Elimination Festival that's going to be happening. Apologies if I get the terms mixed up. It's a bit late and I'm working off of kind of compromised brain power. But anyway, like, the episode is still relatively slow. It's still relatively dampened. And it's just, we're going through the episode and it's just, I guess, we're continuing from where we left off last time. Just getting the new girl acclimated into the situation. I have her name written down somewhere. Oh yeah, is it who? Hikayu? Yeah, it's Hikayu. I think that's how you pronounce it. Anyway, whatever. It's the dating sim girl. We spent a good amount of the episode dealing with her and getting her acclimated to the situation. We spent a little bit of the episode just dealing with the creators and seeing how they're progressing along with things. We spent a good deal getting back Alasteria's creator. It's very nice to see him back in the fold, and it's cool to see him doing something that's working for Alasteria. We see Alasteria also going around and working with Megane, and that whole little sequence is fun and disturbing at the same time, just because we don't really understand what Alasteria is doing at that point. And then we have the sequence with Altair and Blitz, and this episode did focus a little bit more on Blitz because we do see his flashback. We see him meeting up with Yuya's counterpart, and we know that this is the good guy from the story. So, you know, on all sides, we are just setting up the arena. We are setting up what the characters know and what they don't know. We are setting up the sides. And one of the more prevalent ones, or one of the more important ones, is just what we are getting from Altair. Like, she's pretty much telling us that she is growing infinitely powerful every day because people are just adding to her fiction every day. And that's a pretty cool idea. And I do think that Meteora and the others are accounting for that. But it'll be really interesting to see to what extent Altair goes to, because she even premises in this episode that she doesn't know all the powers she has. But one of those powers is one of the ultimate exposition devices that we get. And it's ultimately a power that lets us know that Altair knows what the people are planning. So now this is going to become an issue of Altair can probably deal with things because she has a good overview of the alignments that are happening for the plans that are going down in the episodes. So when you look at it, it really is a premise episode. We have a lot of moving parts. We have a lot of setup going on. Altair has her thing going on. She's just telling us that she knows that schemes are going on. Alasteria has her thing going on, and we know that Altair knows that there is a scheme going on from Alasteria. And then we have Meteora's general scheme, and now she has a spell that lets her find out, I guess, how people are accepting. It's effectively, like she says, a pressure gauge. So overall, you know, just a lot of things happening, just a lot of moving parts, and it ultimately just makes for a very dampened episode because this is logistical problems, right? We're dealing with logistics. We have to know what all the extents are, or all the constraints are for this plan to get going. Now, there are a few things going on in the narrative that terrify me. I guess to just start talking about them in the sequence I remember, let's first talk about Megane. She's in that apartment. She's having fun. As we find out, she was bathing in money. That was an interesting thing to do. We find that she does enjoy the world that she finds herself in, and she likes running around naked. Now, you know, all of that, you know, whatever. The girl's having fun. The really interesting thing was Alastair being there and her ultimately kind of just pushing Megane to go and do something just to cause trouble. Like, what does she want? We know that her creator is in play now. We know that he wants to help her. So that's a pretty interesting little thing going on with in that little relationship. So ultimately, I'm very interested to see what that girl is trying to play, and I do wonder where she is in her mind about where things lie in terms between her and Meteora. I am very interested in that. Speaking of sequences, there was another thing. dealing with Hikayu's, man, that name, I didn't write it down properly, so I can't recall how to pronounce it, but dating sim girl. We had an interesting sequence with her creator, and I think that particular sequence was specifically making fun of waifu culture, because we have the guy, he sees her, he's like being really creepy, and when we see his initial design, it's like, oh man, this guy's gonna be creepy. You could kind of tell, like, they didn't make that design very flattering for that character. And then he starts doing his thing, and then Celestia has to step in and say, no, this person has rights, you can't be doing this. And then he just does the same thing with Celestia. You know, overall, it was a kind of cringy sequence, but it was fun to see it happen. And it was fun to see, like, yeah, there is a creator that has those kind of morals and would do that as a gag or seriously. Regardless, it's cool that they acknowledge that kind of mentality. And I do appreciate that meta element for our recreators. And I do think that was probably one of the lighter moments of the episode. And truthfully, like, even though it was like slightly annoying, I really do appreciate having that scene there, because it did add some levity to the whole situation. Heck, even dealing with Dating Sim Girl, that whole thing with Dating Sim Girl was adding a lot of levity, because people are talking about, like, yeah, her power is seducing men by showing them her panties. It's just like, yeah, that's a dating sim. Overall, I really enjoy that angle when it came to dealing with Dating Sim Girl, because it's just it's funny. You know, you don't want to talk about it. It's like, yeah, we've all seen you guys do horrible things in the video game you're from. We all know about your life. You know, it's just funny to see that poor girl going through that when she realizes her whole life is pretty much out there. And man, if that dating sim had like bad endings where she killed the main character, oh man, they all know what she's capable of. Oh, but I like their solution. They're going to power her up with a fan disc. And as I am aware, fan discs usually have non-canon content. Things can get a little bit more fun on the fan disc. So I really like that solution. And now moving into, I think, the scene that I really, how do I say this? I'm very scared about. And it's the scene with Blitz and Altair. And the first thing I'm going to say to premise this is that I think it's a very good scene. I think the interactions between Blitz and Altair and like the little hug that they share at the end of the episode, I think that was great. I think that's, you know, next execution, and it makes Altair more, you know, makes her, it doesn't make her relatable. It just makes her a bit more fleshed out. And I really appreciate that, because Blitz is talking about how Altair is a fragile thing, and Altair is effectively kind of acknowledging that, while also acknowledging that Blitz has his own thing that he wants to do. Now, the problem here is that Blitz is from what we can assume is a rather sophisticated source material. He is a detective. We saw that he killed his daughter in his story. Because of that, because we don't really know his full motive, we don't really know his full line of thought, he seems like he could have been from a very psychological series. If he's from a very psychological series, there's no telling what he will really do, because we don't know how he tends to rationalize things. And the reason that this is getting kind of scary from a narrative point of view is because you have his creator, Suruga, and she specifically, if you look at the past couple episodes that she's been in, she doesn't do much. But amongst the creators that are working on, I guess, Medora's side right now, she is by far the most upbeat, and she's pretty much the one who is kind of keeping them together. Like, she is kind of working with Rio and trying to make sure that he reconciles with all the other creators, and she's also the one that's having the most fun in this project. That is terrifying when you have that situation and you have Blitz in this kind of weird area, because from the way that Blitz is talking about it, it seems as if he may not be around Altair whenever Altair is doing her thing compared to when Blitz is doing his thing. It's just a very ominous situation. The chances that Blitz will end up face to face with his creator, they're pretty high. And this guy, we can kind of tell that he isn't really a hero. He says it from the very beginning that heroes tend to have very simplistic motives, and he references his partner from his source material. That's like just the natural acknowledgement that his motives are not that simple. So we have no real way of saying 100% sure what Blitz is gonna do, because like at this point he could very well go up to his creator and not even bother with the whole thing about saving his daughter, not even bother about changing his world, and just say, you ruined my life, and just screw over his creator and kill her. You know, life for our life. We just don't know what kind of rationale he has, and because that whole scene is so ominous, I am pretty scared. And then when you look at the narrative itself is balancing it out. Like, Blitz is a very dark person, or like is, I guess, verging towards that extreme, when Suruga is so far a very nice person. Like, that kind of balance, oh, it's gonna be dangerous. But I really do hope that Suruga lives. I don't want any of the creators to die, and I don't want it to go down because Blitz is just being very complicated. Complex motives, man, complex motives. Regardless, this episode really just does set up a bunch of, I guess, threads, and just sets up the premise for the execution battle that's going to be happening. And overall, you know, I do know that a lot of people are saying that these episodes are boring, but I do think that all the action that we're not seeing now, it's going to come back later. This is all going to be just one giant mess that's going to blow up, and it's just going to be a spectacular flurry of action, and that's what I'm really expecting in the future. But guys, I'm going to end it there. Overall, the biggest thing that I took away from this episode is just absolute fear if Blitz gets anywhere near Suruga. That's just all I have, absolute fear. And yeah, I'm pretty excited to see what kind of power up the Dating Sim girl gets. I'm kind of excited to see if Altera gets infinitely powerful. But yeah, guys, let me know what you thought down below, and let's end it there. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, you may consider subscribing, because then you get to see more of these videos, and then you get to enjoy more of these types of videos. But yeah, really, it'll help it'll help out the channel, and I would greatly appreciate it. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Till next time, I hope you have a great day.